Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of UCB on Mission. If you are a Christian, then you are following Jesus on his mission to love God and love neighbor. Now, my part in that mission looks different than your part in that mission, so UCB on Mission is a place where we can learn together of our mission as a family of God to love God and to love neighbor. As the Apostle Paul says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Today, we have a very special guest, Mauricio Laguna. Mauricio, I'm going to get you up here on the screen. There we go. Hey, Mauricio, you are up on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us today for UCB on Mission. It's a treat to have you here.
Hi, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be here and to share with everyone about what I do and everything.
We've got folks logging in here. Hey to Victoria. We'll see who else hops on the live chat here. As always, you're welcome to ask questions on the live chat, and I can ask some of those questions to Mauricio. Mauricio, so a lot of people don't know you. Well, actually, they probably do know of you because they heard your deacon testimony at church a few months ago. But why don't you introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
Okay, I'm Mauricio Laguna. I'm from Ibagué. That is 4 hours from Bogota. I came here to Bogota to study social communication or journalism many years ago, like 20 years ago. So I studied communications, and later I studied scriptwriting. That's it.
That's really cool. Where did you study scriptwriting?
That is called UNIR, that's Universidad Internacional de La Rioja.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I think a lot of people benefit from scriptwriting, but a lot of people may not know what it is. So what is it that you do as a scriptwriter? Can you describe the profession to our audience?
Mm-hmm. I think everyone has watched a movie in their life. So you see that the actors, the dialogues, the action, explosions, and the scriptwriter has to write a story, always thinking that story is going to be represented, and they are going to be actors, and there is a director that is going to direct that movie. So it's like a blueprint or a map for a movie. Yeah, it's a story with a different format, let's say.
Okay, so in scriptwriting, you are doing more than just writing the dialogue. You're mapping out the scene, the way the camera is angling, and when the car enters the shot or whatever, you're mapping out every little detail. Is that right?
No, every little detail. Even sometimes, like if you write that, is a mistake.
Uh-huh.
You just write that. You just write like a camera comes and it's a first primer plano, like close up of an actor when it's really really necessary.
Okay.
You just say what is happening. I don't know. They are eating in a restaurant. You can say what kind of restaurant, but you just give a specific detail when it's necessary.
Okay.
And you don't talk about cameras. It's not. You don't talk about cameras or actors.
You're leaving that creative freedom to who? The producer?
Yeah. The director.
Okay.
I think the director. A script is read it in different perspectives, because the script is, you give the script, or the producer give the script for the director, for the people that is going to work with the makeup, the people that is going to work with the dress, or so. Every person read the script different, because if you are going to make makeup, okay, here we need to do this. the guy that is going to dress all the people, he's thinking in that, or the effects people is thinking what we need to do. So yeah, every person read it differently, and of course the director is the person that see everything, that imagine the whole story, and the people propose to the director, hey, why don't we do this makeup? And the director say, no, no, this makeup, yes or no. But I'm not, in that moment, I'm at home working in another project.
So, so you just brought up something really interesting that I hadn't considered with your line of work, which is, you have to write this script and then you sell it to whomever you sell it to, right? And then you have a director who is interpreting your script. So are they dialoguing with you to say, hey, Mauricio, when you said this, what did you mean? Or do they have complete creative freedom to interpret it the way they want to interpret it?
That depends on the project. Like if it's that depends. Sometimes, for example, we did a short movie with some friends, and of course I was there,
Uh-huh.
because I was also a producer. So they asked me, hey, what happened here? And no, so I explained to them what is happening. But if a big company buy the script, and they start to produce it, maybe they ask you. But when it's a movie, I think it's not common.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could happen. It depends on the project. If you are friend with the director and he wants you to be there, or the producer, more the director, I think, you can be there. But just if they ask you, you're not doing anything. Just you're there and hey, what happened here? Okay, and you can explain. But it's not common. It's not common, and I don't care that I don't care that the director like reinterpret the script. Yes, I really don't care. I think my job is to write the story, to give them, and they start to work and to think about the story. Yeah.
Okay. So just looking at the live chat here, Jeremy and Sarah say hello to you, to the neighbor, basically, right? And Ingrid Quintana is here. Hey, Ingrid, see you. All right. So then this scenario is possible. You write a script, you give it to the director, the producer, they produce the film, the cartoon, the show, whatever it is, and then you sit down and watch it, and you may be surprised by what you see on the screen. And that's probably a really strange experience, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, with the movie I wrote with people, with more people. When I watched the first cut, was like, what is that? Like we never wrote that. Of course, not like complaining, but it was a surprise. And even sometimes it's not. They are making the story bigger, or nicer. For example, because it's an animated film, there was a part where the character needs to go to a city, and for him was easy to get into the city. But the animators, like, they say, no, why don't we like animate some obstacles to the character, so it's funnier, and yeah, it's more interesting. So yeah, everyone is like giving more ideas and making the story bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And sometimes when I was with my friends, like making this short film, I was surprised how, for example, the actors interpret something. So the actors scream, and it was like, no, I didn't imagine that, but the director is the one that say, no, you say it that way, or no, it's a good idea, or it's not. Yeah.
huh.
Hmm.
Interesting because in many professions, um, let's say a journalist picked up something that I did on our YouTube channel and took it out of context, I would be pretty frustrated by that, and that would be unethical in a lot of ways. But as
Yeah,
a scriptwriter, you're writing this thing, you're creating this thing, and you're saying, "Here you go." You take your hands off of it.
yeah. Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
that is a
That's what I do. That's what I do. But some people, for example, a lot of people here in Colombia, they write the script and they direct the
okay.
movie. that happened here in Colombia a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Yeah, because they don't want the story to let go of the story. Yeah, and I think if I think in TV, I have never worked in television, but the scriptwriter I think is more involved, like because they need it. It's super fast, and they need to change something. So the scriptwriter is there, or at least one scriptwriter, because it's a team, like to help to fix that or correct that. Or yes, because if it start to rain, oh, we have to change location and think quickly what to say and help the actors to change the dialogue. Yeah, but I have never done that. I think that's super hard.
Yeah.
Because it's in the moment, like you have to think, how can we fix this? But I think that happens more on TV. Yeah.
Huh. That's very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do you have a favorite script writer, someone who has inspired you over the years, um, that we would recognize or know or have heard of? Because this is a pretty behind the scenes job that you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. I like I was watching a master class with Aaron Sorkin,
Uh huh.
who wrote I have to translate
Okay.
social network, the social network,
Right.
um, Hombres de Honor is in Spanish, another one.
Men of honor, men of valor. That's it.
Yeah, I think he's a good writer. And listen to him, like how he write. I said like, oh yes, I live that, and I think it's a good idea to work that way. So that is maybe it's not a model for me, but yeah, I think it's nice to see how a super big and super famous scriptwriter works.
Yeah.
And yeah, to see that is kind of the same, like it's your same problems. I remember I had a teacher that he said like, you are the same as Gabo, like Gabriel Garcia Marquez,
Uh huh.
and you are the same when you going to start to write something, because you have the same problems. You have to imagine the story. Of course, when you start to write, maybe it's different, but you have the same problems. And you have to work in a way to construct this story. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking here because I was just watching something by Aaron Sorkin, and I can't remember what it was. It's A Few Good Men. It's not.
A few good men, yeah. A
And
few
so
good men.
Steve Jobs, that was a spectacular.
Steve Jobs, yeah.
Moneyball is new to Colombian Netflix, and if you
Uh-huh.
are a Colombian and you don't understand baseball and the industry of baseball,
Mhm,
Moneyball is a true story that is absolutely fascinating.
mhm,
Yeah, and
mhm,
he's obviously written a ton of stuff. My goodness, The West Wing,
mhm,
that's a pretty
mhm,
big deal.
mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, how did you realize that this is what you wanted to do?
I don't know. I think like we all like to listen to stories, because it's like something that like you create empathy with that character, you suffer with that character, and at the end, like you are happy because that character succeed, or yeah. And I think that is good for you, and you are enjoying that. I think everyone that happened to everyone. But I think I started to like more movies and to think about movies. When I was 12 or 13, I started to go to the movies alone, like to the theater alone. And in Ibagué, because it's a small city, like you have to repeat the movies, because if a movie is good, they keep watching showing that movie. So I repeated a lot of movies. And yeah, then in the university, you have teachers that they are passionate about movies. And I wanted to work on that field. And yeah, I bought a camera and I started to rent that camera. But like after I did a workshop about script writing, I said, oh yes, someone has to write the story. So I started to write. Yeah. Yeah, but it's not like one day that I thought like, oh, this is what I want to do. No, it was like a process. Yeah.
So this leads into my next question, because you're talking about storytelling. You and people like you, Mauricio, are some of the unsung heroes of this COVID crisis when so many of us are stuck at home. And what do? Well, you look for stories to draw you in. And so, my question for you is, film, television, is this just entertainment, or is there something more to film and television than entertainment?
I think there's more than entertainment. Yeah, but of course, a lot of people, like most of the people, watch a movie for entertainment. But I think behind that entertainment, there are great stories, and you have also movies are also documentaries, and the documentaries show like great stories, and you can know about subjects and topics that are that you don't know, and you know about that with watching a movie. For example, in Colombia, we have Pequeñas Voces. That is a movie by Jairo Carrillo, and it's great because he interviewed some kids that were refugees here in Colombia, and they told him their stories, how was his life in the countryside, and they draw some of those stories, and he made a film with those drawings, of course with more. But that's great because you can listen to those stories without seeing even the face of that kid, but really feeling what they felt in that moment. So it's great. And about fiction, like when you write a story, you always think in a theme, and that theme helps you to not to get lost because you get a lot of ideas and you talk with someone, hey, why don't you do this and that? But you have to keep that theme in your mind, For example, I'm writing a story about vengeance. Entonces, so that's my idea. I don't want to go to another place, and I reflect a lot about that, And I think that those reflections are in the movies, and maybe you're not going to change a life after they watch a movie or anything, but it's a theme for conversation and to see a life. You see a life represented with some problems and conflicts, and you reflect about life. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you sit down as a scriptwriter, and I don't know if you write with a pencil and pen. You probably just write on your computer. But as you're doing that, the first objective in your mind is not, I want to produce something that is really just entertaining for people. It sounds like what you're saying is, I want to engage people, or I want to reflect and get lost in this theme and invite people to come into it with me, to reflect and get lost in it with me. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think the thing is to make a movie so difficult, and there are so much steps. But yeah, when you are writing, like you are always thinking, at least me, and I always put the theme in a corner of my screen to remind about what I'm talking about. I read the books. For example, I'm writing a story about marriage, and I read Timothy Keller book, and you are reflecting and everything that is about that. You are, yes, I think you always you want to show the people what you are thinking, but you don't want to be preachy. That's something that we always say that's too preachy. That's too preachy.
Yeah.
Because you have to show, don't tell. That's something that the writers always say, like show, don't tell. So yeah, you reflect a lot, and you will like the people that to reflect also in that thing. I don't know because it's difficult to know if they're doing it. But for example, the experience with that movie, the movie I wrote and it's done, like yeah, when movie finished, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, you have to show this movie to the kids, and you have to show this movie in many schools because it's an animated film for kids." So yeah, I think at least they are asking questions.
So, so,
Yeah,
so you're mentioning the film that you finished and that has gone to a few film festivals. Describe this
yeah.
film because we actually have a trailer for our viewers so that you can see what Mauricio's talking about.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a movie that is called Las Aventuras de Nuku that I wrote with the director of the movie and a couple of two more people. They were more like script doctors. And yeah, we that took like 5 years to write that movie because you have to change, and sometimes it's not money, so you have to change more because you show the movie to the kids and they don't understand what that means, what this word mean, and you have to change that. Yeah, so it took a lot. It took a lot of time, but yeah, it was great. It was my first movie. I was a student in Los Andes, and Jairo was my teacher, and he asked me, "Hey, do you want to work with me in my next movie?" And of course, yeah, yeah. So we wrote that, and was fun. Was fun.
And so this is a story about a boy and his pet monkey. Is it a monkey? A Miko?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is
There, look
Kiki.
at that. There you go. Look at that. That's awesome. So a boy and his monkey who are going to save a deteriorating world from a villain who looks to be just polluting from every angle. Is that right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is an indigenous kid that he lives in the last reservoir
Huh?
of the planet. And to save the world, he has to go to a city that is like an amusement park to save his land and to save the world.
Cool.
But he has to realize what he has to save first.
Awesome. Well, let's show the trailer and give people a taste of what you're involved with. Awesome. That's really cool. Okay, so it says solo in cines, but you've taken this to some film festivals, and how will people eventually be able to see this film?
I hope it's going to be one of these platforms that now it's just not Netflix. There are a lot of platforms that are showing movies from different countries. Things that we made this movie. We show in different festivals, but to release a movie in theaters is really expensive.
Yeah.
And I think that producer he doesn't want like to show the movie because it's expensive. It's not that
Yes.
he doesn't want it. It's expensive. You need a whole campaign, and yep. I think, yeah, it's going to be shown in a platform. I hope soon.
Very cool.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, I went with the movie to different festivals, and yeah, the people really enjoyed, and the kids enjoy the movie.
That's
And it's really nice when they go and ask you why is that happened, and they are imagining more,
right.
They're imagining, oh, what happened I don't know, behind the scenes of this world. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really fun to see the way kids get enveloped into a story, and they get lost in it, and they start to dream it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really really fun to see that, and I imagine it feels really cool to have produced the story that draws them in.
Mhm.
This is a different topic, but next week we've got Camilo and Anna, who have developed this really engaging way to do market research. Like as somebody who is providing the research, it's actually
Mhm.
fun to be engaged in the questions that they're asking you. Like it's a game; they set up games. It would be interesting
Mhm.
to see film industry utilize something like that to see what their material is doing to people.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
All right, Mauricio. So let's jump into questions from a kids segment, okay?
Okay.
It's time for questions from a kid.
Okay, so our kid today is Fox. And when I told him what you did, it was like his eyes lit up. Like he had no idea that this sort of a job existed, that people could go to work and make movies. So you blew his mind, and he was very interested. So here is his first question for you.
What movie are you working on?
Okay. Right now, right now I'm working in a movie that is called Bajo las Aguas. It's a thriller, or underwater. I don't know. It's the name of in English. Yeah, it's about a kid he wants to kill a monster that lives in a river, in the River Magdalena.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a story based in a family. Yeah, in my family, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the first script that I wrote, but that was 15 years ago. But now I now have the opportunity to work on it. I received like a kind of a scholarship to write that one.
So is this an animated film?
No. It's an animated film.
Okay.
I just yeah. I told you the kids version of the story because yeah, it's sort of vengeance and yeah, this monster is not nice. Yeah.
But this is not a film that I'm going to take Fox to go see until he's a little older.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true.
Well, Fox has a question about animated films, and I'll let you answer this, and then I'm going to run and get my charger because my computer battery is struggling.
Okay.
So here comes his second question.
Why do you like to write cartoons?
Okay. I like to write cartoons because you can imagine different worlds. Yeah, you can make animals or objects to talk. And for example, in that movie that we wrote with my friends, like if in a city you don't have to take the bus to go to school, but you can take the roller coaster and you go the roller coaster to the school. So let's make a city like an amusement park. So yeah, you can create that kind of worlds and you can imagine different worlds and characters with cartoons.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Third question, Fox.
How many movies have you made?
Okay, I have two movies that are already made. That is Las Aventuras de Nuku and El Volante, or in English it's like the flyer, I think. That one is, we are still working on it, but we already recorded, and yeah, we are like working the music. But I have also 5 projects that I'm working on right now, like in the different process. One is with a producer, and they are already some actors that are involved in the project. And yeah, in different part of the process, because it take a lot of time to make a movie.
Yeah.
For example, Toy Story took 5 years, and with money, and they have money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that you don't think of very often. But we have some friends that are actors in the States, and they'll tell us about something, and because we're hearing, their process, we're like, oh, this is so cool. When are we going to be able to see it? And it takes years for things to be finished. Uh, and I imagine that requires a lot of patience on behalf of the person who has created this content.
Yeah, because sometimes you wrote that, and with this movie that's animated, we wrote it, and they start to animate it, and you have no idea what is going on, like, until one day you say, hey, we have a first cut, and okay, let's. But it takes a lot of time, and with cartoons, it takes a lot of time and a lot of work, a lot of people working, in the movie.
You and I are very different, because I write, and then in a couple days it's going to be on a sermon, and then I dump it, and I have to start again that week and write something else. So I would have a hard time writing something and then just waiting, like, I wonder when, and I wonder what it will look like. How to do this. All right, so this is UCB on Mission, and I really like our viewers to reflect on how their vocation, their everyday work life, is a part of the larger mission of God. So as you've reflected on that question, how is this work a part of the mission of God?
I think like it's, as I told you, that every movie has a theme, and that reflection, like everyone, Christians or not Christians, that is write scripts, they use a theme. But I think like I see a mission there is when you write from the Christian's values and the Christian perspective, when you reflect about the theme with that in mind. Of course, it's not that my movies doesn't, like, everyone is saint, and there's no conflict. No, because that's not a movie. You need conflict, and the people in life say bad words, and yeah. It's not that my movies doesn't have that, but I think when we are going to resolve something, or the actions that some characters takes, like there's in my mind, because we see life differently, I think. I think that's reflected in my stories. It's not easy sometimes, because when you are working with a group of people, like, they think, oh, you are giving your ideas, just like the Christian ideas, and they think like you're not going to use, I don't know, like real conflict, because you think that everything is nice, and Christian never hurt no one, and that's, of course, that's not true. But they think that, and it's hard. But sometimes what happens is, like, they even ask you, like, okay, from the Christian perspective, what do you think about this? And I think that's those moments, and when you are writing, you are always thinking about it. And as I was telling you, the books that I research when I'm going to write something, there are Christian books there too. Yeah. So I think it's like to think about that theme from the Christian perspective, that try not to be preachy, as we say. Yeah.
So I wish that I had prepared you for this question, But what is a Christian film? I mean, sometimes people produce Christian films. What
Mhm.
what is it? What do you think about that? Um,
What I think about that is like a Christian film. Like no everyone is going to watch a Christian film
mhm.
because like maybe Christians or people that are curious about Christianity, they're going to watch those movies because I don't know. In my mind, those movies are like super. Oh, like not everyone is nice, but yeah, it's a way to behave. Even the bad guy is he controls himself or herself.
Right.
So what I try to do is this is life. This is life. Maybe what change is how you are going to resolve that or the alternatives you have to resolve something is could involve like Christian values or to have in mind like a bigger entity like or you need someone to help you. But yeah, I think that's the difference. I haven't watched too much Christian movies. Yeah, for me those are like Hallmark movies.
Yeah. I don't want to get into this too much, but I have there's this thing about calling stuff Christian, right? Like, this is a Christian phone, and this is a Christian cup. Actually, it is. It's got a cross on it. Or this is a Christian song, or Christian music, or Christian film, or Christian T-shirt. Things aren't Christian.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
Art isn't Christian or not Christian. People, the people who produce those things, are Christians or not Christians. And sometimes the way I will gauge the value of a film or a piece of art is to say, did this just tell me something true? And does it match the reality of life in a broken world? And does it prepare my heart for redemption, like real redemption through Jesus? Does it create a longing for restoration? Or does it just tell me something that is not true, or give me something that seems true, like a true problem, and then give me a solution that is not a true solution? And so it's really it can be really disarming because we undo some of our secular and Christian categories for things and for art, and we have to ask people to create to engage and critique in a different way, because you may have something that is really hard to watch that has a brilliantly told Christian message or creates Christian longings, but it's not going to show up on the Hallmark Channel because it's a Christian quote unquote.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm, mhm.
I could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a lot to learn and talk about in those areas. But I'm always thrilled when I hear of Christians creating art like you. I think
Mhm,
you have such an interesting calling to prepare people's longings for the real thing.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, and I think that at least in the movies, like Christians, that I think that's why it's always in my mind, like how to reflect like, as a Christian and reflect about life and God. Because Christians, we every service we are reflecting about God and life. Yeah, and life. And when we read the Bible, we are reflecting about our lives, and we are constantly reflecting about it. So I think that's why, like my work is there is a lot of that there, like God message.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because we reflect a lot about it.
Yeah, this is why I would say you have a pretty unique role in the mission of God. I mean, you are a pretty strategic missionary um, with the pen or the fingers, as it were, to shape people's hearts and prepare them for good news.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Mhm. And it's not, yeah, it's not easy not just to write, but like to give that like message or yeah, to make a story with those values. Yeah, because as I tell you, sometimes you get lost also in the story and the world and how the people solve something. And
Right.
yeah,
So do you have a favorite film that you'd share with us? And maybe it's one that does what you're talking about. I don't know.
you know, I really like the Schindler's
Oh
List.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite.
Why do you like it?
I think because it shows how how the scene of the the world what a way to show it and how bad we can be as humans and how much sin is in the world, but also it shows like someone that is in between all that mess, like someone that is helping people and saving the life for a lot of people. Yeah, so I think that's great. The photography and that is black and white. And there is a sequence that I love. That is when the main character, Oscar Schindler's, he's no one knows who is him. And in 7 minutes, the he starts to talk with the military, and 7 minutes after, he's the most famous guy in the military between the military in Germany. So it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I love sequences like that. My kids were watching Up yesterday, the Pixar film. And
Mhm.
the sequence that tells the story of the old man and his wife is
Wow.
oh that's
Yeah.
it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes of just pure cinematic gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
it's beautifully done. Yeah, I need to rewatch Schindler's List. It's probably been 25 years since I've seen it,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
my first impression as a little kid, first of all, it was the first rated R film that I saw, and I can remember sitting with my dad and watching it and thinking like, "Oh my goodness, humanity is really really wicked."
Mhm. Mhm.
And also feeling the weight and the beauty, and I can picture some of the scenes in my mind from 25 years ago. I can picture the scenes, and I haven't rewatched it because it is. I know it is so profoundly heavy,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I need to rewatch it. I sometimes with my job, I there are enough heavy, hard things that I deal with already that I don't want to go and look for something else that is heavy.
Yeah.
Plenty of it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of it in my day to day life with my work as a
Mhm.
pastor. But yeah, that's a great example. Great example. Okay,
Mhm.
we are over time here, Mauricio. So uh, let me ask you just a couple more questions. How has COVID-19 affected the film industry here?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, all the theaters are closed. So imagine, and I think if they open, like the people is not going
Yeah.
to go to the movies like they used to. So yeah, there's everything is every project is stopped here in Colombia and in the world. So this is a job that you get paid when you are working. Like a lot of jobs in this industry is like that.
Right.
You don't work for a yeah, you receive a salary, but you get paid for every job. So yeah, there is a lot of people that is unemployed right now. Netflix, for example, here in Colombia, Netflix gave like some help
Huh.
and some money. The people, if you, I think like if you got a contract, you show your contract. Look, I have this contract. I was working, but I'm right now I'm not working, so they help you. Uh,
That's cool.
yeah, but it's really yeah, that was really cool. But I think next week or no, there are like some like rules to work now in the industry, but it's not easy. I was listening to a producer that he said like, imagine if my main character gets sick, we have to stop everything, you know, everything, and we are losing more money. So it's not easy, but yeah, I think the industry is like learning how to work, or we're going to learn because everything right now, no one is working. But I think soon they're going to start to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same in the US with our actor friends to
Mhm.
to have a project that they're hired for, they audition
Mhm.
for, but it's not going to be shot until, months from now, and then maybe, right, if there's still money. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how many apocalyptic movies were able to be shot in this time when you have empty streets and totally quiet cities. And
Yeah.
but yeah, this is just unheard of. For it's so interesting. There's so much demand for media, for film,
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
television, like, and good quality stuff, but there's not the opportunity to produce it,
Mhm.
unless you see people becoming more innovative and producing like a Zoom film. I saw an article about how people are producing
Yeah.
films through
Yeah.
things
Here in
like this.
Colombia was produced a movie that is called El Baño. That was shooting quarantine, and the actors like they use their cameras. I don't know how was it, but the actors were they had to record themselves, and yeah, and it was made in quarantine. And yeah, it's true. Like the industry, like those platforms like Netflix, and there is a platform here that shows like independent films. It's called Mowi. Those like
Yeah,
they are huge, and in this quarantine, yeah, they are. It's great. The business grow in that way, and I think after all this, they need more material because they are showing everything.
yes,
Yeah, and that part was good, or is good. But yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah.
yeah. One of our
Yeah.
one of our viewers, M. Ramali, says that they would like to see like this crisis shot as a film. And I'm imagining there's going to be a lot that is written and produced about this theme, because this has been one of those things that has stretched the limits of humanity and has forced us all to explore loneliness and companionship in new ways, productivity in new ways, family in new ways. I mean, it's recast the way we do life, and surely there's going to be some art that comes out of this. My
Yeah.
my Some of my actor friends were telling me that this has given creative people an opportunity to actually do a lot of writing,
Mhm.
and so it'll be interesting to see if there's a revolution of creativity that comes whenever we're able to produce some of this and shoot these films and television. We may have some really beautiful stuff that
Mhm.
produced
Mhm.
out of this. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of everyone is at home working in new ideas with time to think. So yeah, I think there are going to be like great projects later. Yeah, that's true.
We'll see. Okay. We've got to finish here, Mauricio. So, how would you ask someone who is watching right now to pray for you as you are on mission as a scriptwriter?
Um, I think like to finish this project, yeah, and to make those projects reality. And yeah, I think also like don't forget my Christian view in this whole process, and yeah, to find a way to express myself and what I am and what God is in me, in my projects, in the best way that the people can enjoy and they can reflect about life and their lives, the lives of others. Yeah. Inspiration, I think. Yeah.
Great. Well, can I pray for you as we finish then?
Sure.
Lord, thank you for Mauricio. Thank you for his work, writing stories and telling stories, even shaping our longings through story, our capacity to understand and recognize redemption when we see it in story, really preparing hearts to worship and to be a part of the story. Lord, that's the motive of his heart, is to draw people into the story of redemption, your story of redemption. That people would sense their need for Jesus. What a cool mission he is on. Lord, we applaud people like him, and him. We are proud of him, and we want more of this. We want success for our brother. We would love for one day someone to be on an interview like this and to be asked the question, who is a scriptwriter who inspires you? And for his name to be mentioned because he's had an impact on your world and on many, many, many people, the way our hearts receive information and process and long for your sort of redemption, Lord. So bless the labors of his fingers and his brain as he works. Lord, would you give him much creativity? Would you give him boldness to tell good, true story that points people to your capital T truth? Lord, would you give him conviction and discernment, great skill, because it is hard to do profound things. It is hard to show without telling, and he wants to do that. He wants to show people you. Lord, I pray for productivity during these difficult times. It's hard to focus in this season of life. It's certainly, at least for me, it's much harder to produce and to write in the same way I used to, and I expect that he senses some of that. And Lord, I pray that this project he's working on and the projects he's working on would soon be finished, and that they would have success, and that you would continue to bring more ideas and creativity to his heart and to his mind that are overflowing from an affection for the Lord Jesus. It's in his name that I pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a privilege to have you on here. Like I said, we are proud of you and thankful that you're doing this good work. It's a lot of fun for you to be a part of our church. So, all right. If you'll hang on the line for a second, I'll exit the program here, and you and I can chat. Okay.
Okay.
So everybody, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of UCB on Mission. Don't miss some cool content we've got coming up for you. Of course, we have worship tomorrow at 11 a.m. right here on this channel. We'd love it if you would hit like on this video before you close it out so that other people can see it. It gets a little more exposure, and subscribe and turn notifications if you haven't done that yet to this channel. And remember, Monday, we've got brand new content in the image of God, conversations about race, where we're going to have a very fascinating panel discussion with a few different experts and learn from each other on Christian perspectives on race and racial injustice. So don't miss that Monday right here at 8 p.m. That's all the time we've got here. Remember, if you are a Christian, you are on mission. You're following Jesus on mission. What will that mission look like for you this week? Let's talk about it soon. Take care.